Urban Portland looked luxurious but lonely. After Anna disappeared, he'd sold their old apartment and bought this house. A new place, a new life. No ghosts of the past, no guilt, no memories of the night she'd said she wanted a divorce and the way his hands had clenched on her throat. The investigation closed after a year with no results. Detective Tom Brown continued to stare at him with ill-concealed hatred in rare meetings, but could prove nothing. The body was never found. John took a sip of whiskey and closed his eyes. Business was going well. His investment company was thriving. He was a respected man in the community, a generous donor to charity, a role model. No one knew what went on behind the closed doors of his previous marriage. No one knew the truth about how Anna had died. The doorbell rang abruptly and unexpectedly. John opened his eyes. He wasn't expecting anyone. Rare friends always warned of a visit. Must be some courier with a late delivery. Set his glass on the table and went to the door. Opened it without looking through the peephole. And the world stopped. Anna stood on the doorstep. His wife, Anna. The woman he killed 10 years ago. John felt the blood drain from his face. His legs felt woozy. His head rattled, as if someone had turned up the white noise at full volume. "Hi, John," she said in Anna's voice, the same voice he'd had nightmares about. "What took you so long to open up?" She stood on his doorstep, just as she had been the day she died. The same shoulder-length brown hair, the same green eyes, the same small mole at the right corner of her lips. Only there were more wrinkles, and there was gray in her hair, as if she'd really lived those 10 years somewhere. But that was impossible. "You..." John couldn't say a word. "Can I come in?" Anna asked, smiling her usual smile. "It's cold outside." She walked past him into the house as if she did it every day. She threw off her coat and hung it on the coat rack, the same coat rack where their clothes used to hang in the old apartment. "You've changed the furniture," she said, looking around the living room. "I like it." "I put the couch against the other wall, though." John stood leaning against the wall, unable to move. This is impossible. This is some kind of nightmare. A hallucination, or he's completely lost his mind. "You can't be here," he finally squeezed out. Anna turned around and looked at him in bewilderment. "Why not? I told you I'd be back tonight. I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic." John swayed and grabbed the door jamb. You're dead. 10 years ago." Anna laughed. Her laughter sounded exactly as he remembered it. "John, what is this nonsense? I've been to the doctor. You drove me yourself this morning, remember?" She came closer. "Are you feeling all right? You look pale." She smelled of the same perfume. Dior. Anna always wore it. "You can't be here," John repeated, backing away. "I buried you." Anna frowned. Put her palm on his forehead. "Do you have a fever? Maybe you're sick? Let me make you some tea." She turned and walked to the kitchen as if she knew exactly where she was in this new house. John followed her slowly, feeling his heart pounding in his chest. This is a dream, he thought. I'm going to wake up now. But he didn't wake up. Anna opened the cupboard, took out the cups, exactly where they stood, turned on the kettle and turned to him. "John, you seem strange today. Did something happen at work?" John stared at her, not believing his eyes. He remembered that night exactly. He remembered her telling him she was leaving him, how they'd argued, how his hands had clenched around her throat, how the light had gone out in her eyes, how he wrapped her body in a rug and drove her out of town, how he dug her grave in the frozen ground. "You can't be here," he said for the third time, feeling nausea coming up his throat. Anna walked over to him and took his hand. Her palm was warm, alive. "John, you're scaring me. Should we call a doctor?" He yanked his hand away and backed up against the wall. "Who are you?" he asked, panic rising inside him. "You can't be Anna. Anna is dead." The woman in front of him sighed and shook her head. "John, that's enough. This isn't funny. I'm tired after my doctor's appointment, and you're playing some weird game." The kettle boiled. She turned away to make tea. John watched her every move. She moved exactly like Anna, holding the cup with the same hand, added sugar the same way, 2 spoonfuls, and stir clockwise. "Let's sit down," she said, holding out the cup to him. "You're clearly not yourself." John took the cup. The hot porcelain burned his fingers, and the sensation convinced him that he was awake. Everything was happening. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "What is it?" she asked, sitting down at the table. "John, you're scaring me. What's wrong?" He set the cup on the table without taking a sip. "It's been 10 years, he said. "It's the year 2025. Now it was her turn to look surprised, but it lasted only a moment. She smiled with slight concern. "John, it's 2015. Today is the 28th of March. I was at Dr. Harrison's for a checkup, remember?" John shook his head, trying desperately to gather his thoughts. "No, that's impossible. It's been 10 years. You're dead. Why do you keep saying that?" There was irritation in her voice. "I'm alive, John. I'm here, in front of you." He stared at her, trying to figure out what was going on. Maybe he really had lost his mind. Maybe all those 10 years had been a hallucination? Or had he buried the wrong woman? But no, it was Anna. He remembered her face exactly at that moment. "I can prove it," he said, jumping up. "I'll show you." He rushed to his office and returned with a laptop, opened it, logged in, and showed her the date. Look, March 28th, 2025. 10 years have passed, Anna. She looked at the screen and then at him with pity. John, I don't know what you did to the computer, but is this some kind of joke? Or are you sick? He closed the laptop and shook his head. It's not a joke. And I'm not sick. You can't be here. You died 10 years ago. He stammered, realizing he'd almost confessed to murder. I'm what, John? She asked, tilting her head. What did you do? He stepped back, feeling the room begin to spin around him. Nothing. I don't know what's going on. She stood up and walked over to him, put her hands on his shoulders. John, you need to rest. Come on, I'll walk you to the bedroom. She took his hand and led him upstairs. He followed her as if in a trance. She knew exactly where the bedroom was in this house he had bought a year after her death. When they entered the room, she turned on the light and began to make the bed. John stood at the door, watching her. How did you know where the bedroom was? He asked. She turned around with a smile. What kind of stupid question is that? We've lived here for 5 years. John felt panic rising to his throat. No, he said. I bought this house after you disappeared. You were never here. Anna sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. John, you're really scaring me. Maybe I should call the doctor. He shook his head, unable to utter a word. What's going on? Is he going crazy? Or is this some kind of elaborate prank? But who could have known? Who could have known he'd killed his wife? Lie down, she said softly. You need to sleep. Everything will be better in the morning. He walked slowly to the bed and sat down beside her. She smelled so familiar, so real. Oh, Anna, he whispered. If this is really you, forgive me. She smiled and stroked his cheek. What for, silly? It's all right. Now lie down. She stood up to give him a seat. John lay down without taking off his clothes. He was sure he would be able to sleep. But fatigue and shock did their work. And soon he fell into a restless sleep. When John awoke in the morning, the bed beside him was empty. He sat up abruptly, looking around. Could it really have been a dream? Maybe everything from last night had just been a dream? But then he heard sounds from the kitchen, the clinking of dishes, footsteps. He got up slowly and went downstairs. Anna was standing at the stove making breakfast. She turned around when he came in. Good morning, she said with a smile. How are you feeling? John Miller looked at her, and for the first time in 10 years was truly afraid. The third day of Anna's presence in his house had turned John Miller's life into a nightmare for real. Every morning he woke up hoping it was just a dream. And every morning she was here, making breakfast, smiling, asking about the day's plans, as if these 10 years had never happened. As if he hadn't killed her that cold March night. John sat at the kitchen table watching her wash the dishes, doing it just like the real Anna did. First the glasses, then the plates, then the utensils. Wipes her wet hands on the kitchen towel slung over her shoulder. You're looking at me again, she said without turning around. Is something wrong? John flinched. Even that, her ability to feel his gaze, was completely like Anna's. Everything's fine, he replied. She turned and smiled, but her eyes remained serious. John, you've been acting strange since the other night. Shouldn't you see a doctor? No, he said sharply. There's no need to see a doctor. If he went to a doctor, he would inevitably have to explain why he believed his wife was dead while she was standing in front of him. And that will definitely end up in a mental institution. Or jail. Okay, she shrugged. Whatever you say. But know that I'm worried about you. John felt something tighten in his chest. That concern was just like the real Anna's. Even in the last few months when their marriage had been cracking at the seams, when he'd started raising his hand to her, she'd still worried about him. It drove him crazy then, and it drove him crazy now. A phone call entered his thoughts. He pulled his cell phone out of his pocket, and the name Mike, his business partner, popped up on the screen. I need to take this, John said, standing up. Sure, Anna nodded. I'll go upstairs and get my things organized. John went out to the living room and took the call. Hey, Mike. John, where are you? We agreed to meet at 10. It's almost 11 now. John glanced at his watch. Shit, he'd completely forgotten about the meeting. Sorry, I got held up at home. Family emergency. Mike chuckled. Family? Since when do you have a family? Yeah, just misspoke. Domestic stuff. I'll be right there. Uh-huh, okay. The client has agreed to wait another half hour. Try to make it. John ended the call and turned toward the stairs. Anna, he called out. I have to go to a meeting right away. I forgot. He fell silent. It was quiet upstairs. He quickly climbed the stairs and looked into the bedroom. It was empty. The bathroom was empty too. He checked all the rooms upstairs. No one. Anna? He called again, coming downstairs. Silence. He went all around the first floor, even looked in the basement.
Don't mix salt with these 3 ingredients if you don't want the Mounjaro effect on your body and your pants loose in a week. You may not know this, but recently a viral video from a famous doctor revealed that people who struggle to burn stubborn fat have low levels of 2 thermogenic hormones, the same ones found in Mounjaro, the celebrity favorite.
From angry grandmas fighting after losing a gamble, to Neymar losing $1 million, and even a man losing his life savings. Here are times when gamblers lose everything, starting with this guy, who is the definition of a sore loser. This guy lost everything he had on the slot machines, and he didn't take that well at all. He made sure that if he can't win on the machines, no one will. Maybe if someone had done that for this next one, he would have been saved from himself. This man thought he had a great enough winning streak after winning over $22,000.
Yes, oh my god, 14.6. Okay, 14.7, 14.5. Yes, we're in. 16K, $16,000. $16,000. Oh my god! Holy crap, holy crap. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I said 20K. That was on blackjack though. I don't give a... Come on, do a fucking 800. Come on. Oh my god, 20,000. Oh my god almighty. You're real. Hallelujah be thy name. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah be thy name. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is not happening. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
But he didn't know when to quit.
Oh my god. 16. Oh, come on. Oh my god, what am I doing? Stop. Oh, last one. Oh no. What the fuck am I doing? I'm not getting that back. Let's do this. Oh my god! I won that! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, nice one. Oh,
Why does it sound like he's about to lose everything? Oh my god.
oh my god. I'm such a fucking idiot.
It wasn't over yet, though.
Yeah! There's a big one. There's a big boy hit. Make that shit back, baby! Yeah! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! This isn't happening! Oh my god! I almost got it all out, all back.
You'd think that would be a good enough lesson for him to stop, but no.
Oh my god. Please. Oh! Oh my god. Why, dude?
Why?
I'm not getting that back. I'm not.
Hello. How are you doing, family?
Oh my god. That's gonna be too good. Oh, such a... I'm so sad right now. I deserve this.
Turns out he'd been borrowing money to gamble online, and after losing it all, he was in trouble.
Dude, somebody please help me, bro. Dude, somebody please help me, bro. I know one of y'all can help me, bro. I know somebody out there can help me, man. I am in a lot of trouble right now, dude. I'm in trouble, dude. I'm in trouble, man. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, man.
He ended up calling the one person who might be able to help him.
Oh my god, I gotta call my mom, dude. She's the only person that'll help me, dude. She's literally the only person that can help me, bro. Oh my god, this is not happening, bro. This is not happening. This is not happening.
But these viewers summed it up pretty well. Someone please help me? Bro, it's time that you help yourself. The crazy thing about his addiction is he has won big before, and he always doubles it down. He cannot leave with money like ever, because it's not like the internet hadn't seen him do this before. He was feeling good about this one, but his feelings deceived him.
No, you. No, dude, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Dude, there's no way. There's no way. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God, dude. Dude, what is this? How did this turn off like that? Come on, dude, it's not real. It's not real. Oh my gosh. Dude, I need a... Dude.
And he clearly couldn't deal with that loss. The pace at which he burns through his remaining credits is terrifying. The more he loses, the faster and more erratic his clicking becomes. Legit scary. It's funny how he's just casually doing himself a favor by destroying the equipment that is fueling his destructive habit. Maybe his lack of equipment will be enough to stop him, but someone needs to do the same for this next guy. This is streamer XQC, and he's a frequent online gambler. He's won a lot of times, but this time was different.
Just for fun, let's do at 15k, right? Just for fun. Just for fun, let's see how it goes.
Within seconds, he lost $15,000, and no one could do anything about it. That hit won't hurt XQC too much, but this next guy won't recover from his loss very easily. This guy barely had enough money to cover his rent for the month, but instead of depositing it, he made a beeline to the roulette machine with it. To no one's surprise, that didn't pan out very well.
I feel like if I didn't, I was gonna hold it out.
I told him not to.
I'm not gonna think about it.
He finally got out of his mom's basement and lost his Mountain Dew and Chips fund for the year. He's understandably going to have a lot of lonely nights in that cold basement. In hindsight, though, this is just 100. But this next gambler took things further than ever before. A creator's name being Trainwreck should be a sign that they're not the best at what they do, but he took it to an unprecedented level. He lost $6 million during a single streaming session.
Something at this magnitude should be shown. Because if he takes that down and then he hits for say about $5 million, you know, it's gonna be like, oh my God, he just won $5 million.
This thing's coming down for a sec. So we can rebuild a little bit because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, he decides to take the 6.9 down. I kind of don't blame him,
But he didn't stop there. He started putting more money into it.
we'll say 500,000. So that brings him up to a little over 8 million, about 8.1.
If that wasn't bad enough, a couple of hours later, he dumped even more money in.
This is actually it here. After this, I can't even, I don't know, look at gambling ever again after this.
I don't blame him.
Just when you thought he was done there, he hit the deposit button again, bringing his total deposits over the
Does
course of
anybody
his
here
stream to
waste
$10
their money on
million
gambling?
and loses all of it.
At this point, he needs another 600,000, guys.
Bonus.
He needs a max win right here just to break even. This is so bad.
I mean, let's try to leave it here for this one.
Alright guys, we're gonna see if we can make a turnaround. I mean, $10 million, how do you turn that around? I don't know.
Because I feel like, I have no clue how much you lost on it, but I feel like you feel like it owes you. I just don't think this game is going to do shit.
So,
That's not gonna
no
work.
surprise, he ends up losing that balance. He actually deposits
Bring it to
another
him.
sum.
Is that he might be inspiring other creators to go down the same path. Aiden Ross won $25,000 during a gambling stream, and he couldn't contain himself.
Give it to me!
50 G's. 50 G's. Let's go. Holy.
I don't know why I'm doing this like this, but look, I'm actually splitting it. Let's see how that works out. And I'm actually just gonna twist my hair.
God, we're 50 G's, 50 G's, 50 G's.
He was confident enough to keep going, maybe a little too confident.
Come on, we win this. We're at $54,000 limit. Just like that, 50 something balance.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Now what? Now what? Now what? 2, fuck it. We're only at 2, 10,000. Fuck it. It's 20,000?
What? No!
It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. I tried doing it, though. I tried.
System was like, yeah, fuck that.
Oh my god. What do I do? Somebody tell me what to do, bro, please.
10,000?
That was a sign, but he didn't see it as one.
24,000. Fuck it. For Kobe, 24.
Hey, you might hit.
Right now? No, right now?
Sorry.
We still got $400
And he went from $50,000 to $400 in seconds. What do I do now, bro? We're just down $25,000. What do I do? Stop gambling. This next person did a lot worse. This creator had a pretty good start.
Let's recover. Let's recover.
Jake, just chill, just chill.
Jake, hold my hand.
Jake, why are your hands wet? Why are your hands? I don't care. Dude, 4-4-2, I'm getting out.
No, get out.
No, 4-4-2, I'm sticking with it. Oh! Let's go!
Oh my god!
Holy shit! Dude, that was on the 6.9 to go at 4.2. Oh my god.
But then, he cashed out too early.
Out.
Hey, we let this one fucking ride to the moon, bro. Let this one ride to the moon. No. Double up.
And didn't anticipate losing out on a massive win.
That was a moon!
This goes to 86. I will personally get named. But you like $300 on this chat. So cool. Chat. Hey Siri, what's 300 times 150?
300 times 150 is 45,000.
It's a 200! Oh my god!
The biggest player in history.
This is the big I told you, bro. $400, $300!
And it kept going. He lost out on over $300,000, and that one's gonna haunt him forever. But maybe not as much as this next guy. Togi has been gambling online on his channel for a while now, and some days are more intense than others. Like this one, when he started betting a lot on Plinko balls. And at first, things were going great.
We've invested into Plinkies, so now it's gonna give out. You know, we can't just let that go to waste. Just a couple. Just a couple that were done.
But just as they began getting really hopeful,
Gambled on stream for 10 hours straight, and I lost so much money. I hit my stake deposit limit, and it made me stop gambling. So anyways, 7:30 p.m. We're not talking no a.m. in the morning, boy. 7:30 p.m. I was streaming until 9 a.m.
that should have been the point where he stopped, but it wasn't. This time, instead of betting his own money, he tried to borrow it from other people. That sounds easier than it was.
Can I borrow $500? Bro, I'll give you some.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day one, he would install Pi on his computer without spending a dime because it's 100% free. Day two, he realizes how clean and clutter-free his browsing experience has been since he got Pi. He doesn't have to deal with annoying cookie pop-ups or targeted ads. Day three, he can finally binge YouTube and Twitch without interruption because Pi works on every website you visit on Chrome. Day four, he discovers that when he does see ads, he can get paid to see them. Day five, His life has improved 1,000 times because of the peace he gets from experiencing an ad-free internet. He decides he never wants to go
600 tomorrow.
That sounds like Tiger Ball.
Hi, yes, or should I just send you an ETH address or what?
No, I don't know.
That rejection was supposed to be a wake-up call, but he just moved on to the next person.
And I was wondering if I could borrow $500.
Look at me. Let's talk about it tomorrow.
He tried until someone said yes.
I think you're on to give me 600 back. Okay, thank you so much.
With all his eggs in the Plinko basket, he seemed hopeful again, but there was no point.
How is it back in? How did they go back in? How did that go?
Oh my god, how's that point too? It should be last Plinko ball. To my name. Please. Oh no. Oh my god, that's people. Oh no. Oh my god, this is just devastation. I can't click a ball. I've never fucking clicked a ball again. Now you gotta give me $9,500 bro. I don't know what you're laughing at. Nothing funny. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
It's hilarious how every person he called asking for money knew that it was going into Plinko straight away. At least he asked before taking the money from them. This next woman didn't even do that. This woman won $14 million in a casino, an amount that could change anyone's life, but she lost it all.
It doesn't seem possible, but police say this Florida woman blew $14 million playing slot machines. An addiction so strong, the thrill of those magic 777s landed her behind bars.
That wasn't the end of it. She went on to steal $500,000 from her in-laws to get back to the slot machines.
Ms. Dennison was the one who had basically wiped out their accounts to the tune of over $500,000.
She comes visit us, bring a dozen donuts. She just got this one bad habit.
She kept stealing from her in-laws until she couldn't go on anymore, and now she's paying the price by going to jail for it. If I won $14 million, you will never see me again, Lowell. She's crazy. But this next gambler couldn't keep control of his stomach after he lost a fraction of that. The man made one bet after another, eventually amounting to $2,000. And in one fell swoop, he lost it all. After gaining some composure, he made the crucial mistake of going after it again. That's when he turned the stream off and went to think about the decisions he'd made. But this next woman wasn't so secretive about it. She put her emotions out there for everyone to see, even the machine. What she didn't know was that she wasn't one of a kind. This next guy might just be her long-lost twin. This man didn't start off easy. He came into the store with 2,000 pounds and bet it all in one go. But the thing about going all in is that there's a 50% chance things won't go your way. The only saving grace is that he was sad on his own. The same can't be said for the next pair of women. They couldn't decide who gets to take home the winnings, so they chose to fight it out instead. But that can't compare to the...
Hi, I'm Christine, founder of YouandI.com. What is YouandI.com? We build your business a beautiful, high-performing website in 7 days. Our website...
The despair this next woman felt. After losing $500 while gambling, this woman had nothing left. So she figured out a way to keep the original money from walking away from her too, by yelling at the man who was taking it away. He eventually got so annoyed by her yelling that he actually gave her some money. She didn't get all of it, but it was enough to shut her up, and the internet couldn't believe it. Damn, wish I'd known I could get my money back if I just screamed at the casino. Casinos hate this one easy trick. Maybe she could have given this next guy some advice, because he could have used it before he made all the wrong moves. This person picked a gambling website and went all in, but from the second he did that, it seemed like a bad idea.
It's pretty bad the guy on the left has more balls than you do, mate. Draw a set and all in. Fuck you, chances, boss. I'm all in, Andy.
Oh, my friends.
And it was. Maybe with this 5K, they'll buy new mics for the dealers. This guy didn't even have that much to lose, but this next one might be the most unexpected one yet. Neymar casually bet $1.09 million while gambling. That massive risk didn't pay off. He ended up losing it all, and his reaction was totally warranted. To this day, no one can believe it. But he's not a seasoned gambler and has the money to lose. Bossman Jack, on the other hand,
Oh, he
doesn't.
had the money
Yet,
to
he
lose.
keeps trying
Okay.
anyway. You'd think he
He's
was
so
finally trying to
kind.
be smart about his bets, but that's not the case. He bet big and lost just as big.
No, I lost! Oh my God, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Yes, yes, yes. No, oh my God. Oh my God. No! I just lost 30K. I just lost 30K. Oh my God. Bro, what the fuck is this? Bro! Oh, thank you. There's still more for me. I lost it all. I just lost $50,000. Oh my God. There's your new YouTube video. There's the new YouTube video.
And he's not the only one with this type of money management skills. Yasuo tried his luck at blackjack,
I'm gonna
thinking
make
he was
this
going to
one
have
one
a
too.
lucky day.
I know it looks big,
Jack
but
till 25K or 15K? Okay, 6, can't complain. 6s versus 9. That's definitely not
you know what? I'll make it 2.
100%.
And therefore make it 4.
Yeah, you think? You think? Oh, man.
He's playing against AI? Doesn't he know the house always wins?
Of course I can complain. Of course I can complain. Okay, can't complain. Can't complain. Is this really how we're gonna start? Is this really how we're gonna start? Is this really how we're gonna start?
When things start off on the wrong foot, most people would just stop right there, but not him.
If I lose this, I'm off the table. If I lose this, I'm literally off the table. If I lose this, I'm literally off the table. Oh my God! Bro!
But even at this point, he couldn't bring himself to quit.
Last one. If I lose this, I'm off the table. Are you f***ing serious? I just started! Give me one win, dude! One win! Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is sick! This is sick! Holy. What the f***, dude? Like, what the f***? I just... Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. How? I'm literally playing blackjack. And I got fucked. Oh my God. Holy shit.
He figured it had to be that specific table that was the problem. So to fix it, he just switched over to a different one. But things didn't go over any better here.
Eddie Holding performance.
Imagine creating simple short videos that gain significantly more views than others on the same topic. It's not about luck, it's about focusing on...
But I just lost 8K or 9K in like 2 minutes. I lost 9K in 2 minutes. I literally lost 9K in 2 minutes.
Please place your bets.
And he's still at the betting table.
Can't even get a fucking blackjack. I can't even get a fucking blackjack. Oh! Oh!
He didn't stop there either. Instead, he went back to where the problem began.
Oh, now I have to go through this. I just have to at this point, right? Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't 7. Oh my God! I actually haven't won a single hand. I haven't won a single hand. I haven't won a single hand. I haven't won a single hand.
And then he did the math.
3, 6. Out of 10 blackjack hands, I won 1. Out of 10 hands, I won 1. It's 49% odds. 49%. How?
Even though the proof was in front of him, he couldn't let it go.
I don't dare. Dude, this is so stupid. I'm actually genuinely tilted. I can't stop. I'm literally tilted. Bullshit. Let me see the bullshit. Pull a 9 right here. It's gonna be a 9.
Gambling
right?
addiction.
Oh, let me guess. A 6 right here. Let me guess. A 6 right here. What? No! Dealer change. Yeah. You can scam me and run.
He switched again with less than 2,000 to his name this time.
I haven't been this tilted gambling in a long time. Like, that's just fucking stupid. Give me 6. Give me 6. Give me 6. 8. I'm so tilted. I'm so tilted. I can't believe how lucky I am.
Somehow, he was still hopeful about it.
If I get 15, I'm back. If I get 15, I'm back. 15 and I'm back. 15 and I'm back, dude. 15! Ah! Look at me. Well, I'm already cleaned. How?
He eventually went back to the first table one final time, and it still didn't work. But this time, he couldn't hold in his anger anymore.
Please give me a blackjack. What the? What the? What the dude? What the? Are you serious, dude? Holy shit, man. Look at my fucking desk, dude. Are you serious, dude? Holy shit. What is that? I'm so disgusted. I'm so sick to my stomach.
Whenever I want to gamble, I just come back to watch this video. He basically became an example of how bad gambling can get for some people. And it's not just him. This man lost everything he bet on one machine, and he couldn't handle the disappointment.
Fucking dead, man. I'm fucking dead, man.
The worst thing is that not only gambling makes you addicted, but also makes you develop angry issues for losing. Just look how he destroyed the machine. With gambling machines, the outcome can be a little predictable. With people, you don't know how things are going to turn out. That's a lesson the next guy should have paid attention to. This man bet a major chunk of money from his savings on the game, thinking that his intuition would double it. That's far from how things panned out for him.
God damn it! Yeah! No, you mother! Get up! Get up! Over that wall! Push it! And get that mother! Ah! Woo! Give me the 22!
He tried to calm himself down for a while in the middle there, but that didn't last very long either.
Yeah! You just sucker! Where's the flag all around? You either convert or just third down! On! Real! Where's the flag? Where's the flag?
At the end of it all, he had to sit there and accept that he basically threw all his money down the drain. Guy never played a down of football in his life, but he's willing to lose everything betting on it. And if you thought this is as bad as it gets, this next man is about to show how things can get so much worse. You know things have gotten out of hand when you bet even the last 25 cents to your name hoping for a win.
This is my last 25 cents to my name. Well, you got a bunch of bars.
At least that's not a massive chunk of money. This next guy...
It's here. It's this. The federal government just come out with some new regulations that allows you to buy real estate with less money down than ever before. Less than Congress. I'll show you how to do it with no money down. I'll show you how to do it with no credit. I'll show you how to do it with 2 units, 4 units, 40.
I can't say the same thing. He started things off at a good note with $500,000 in his account.
Start off simple here. Come on, Harry. No!
shit. This ain't gonna go good.
But that didn't last for very long. Before he knew it, he was down to 80,000. So he put that on the line.
God, well, come on, show me a 1090, 1090, please, 1090. Come on, Harry, please, buddy. This is massive. Oh my goodness, dude. I mean, come on. Wow.
He put even more money into it, hoping to make the loss back, but luck wasn't on his side.
Brother, come on, man. For real, come the f on. Dude, this is unbelievable. What is happening? Bust! Brother, come on.
Come on.
And it kept getting worse.
This is unbelievable, dude. There is no fucking way you're gonna pull a 21 here, man. Seriously. What is going on? This is not legit. There's no way! Dude, buddy. Seriously. Go fuck yourself.
Okay.
Oh my God! You haven't I'm telling you, brother, I am 2 seconds away from fucking chucking this chair right into this fucking monitor, bro. I'm telling you right now.
He only stopped when he'd lost $1 million, and he didn't go silently.
This music was generated with the tool I'm showing you today.
Wait, what?
It's the first platform that combines AI music generation and editing all in one simple place. The app is called Eureka.
Popping bottles, watch me pop those bottles.
Now you may be familiar with tools like Suno or Udio, which are all pretty good. However, when it comes to Eureka, it does some pretty creative and very impressive things. For example, upload your own voice for your AI-generated tracks. Another impressive one is style reference. You can upload any file, and Eureka will analyze it, identify the key elements, and then compose music that matches that exact style.
For the most amazing prompts and prompts databases, click the links in the description.
Alright, so here we are on Eureka's homepage, and it is pretty impressive. There are some very good tunes and music that you can start listening to right off the bat.
God.
A few months ago, to celebrate my friend's birthday, I went on a Victory Casino cruise. And not only did everyone get seasick almost immediately, but we also lost all the money we brought in to gamble with. It was one of the best days of my life. For a good portion of the past century, getting on a boat that reeks of piss and wobbling your way out just far enough into the ocean so that laws don't exist anymore was one of the only ways to legally gamble in the United States. It had such a convoluted barrier of entry that most people could go their entire lives without ever being tempted to do it. Just don't go to Nevada and you'll probably never see a casino. In 2024, this is no longer the case.
Home on FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM,
Underdog, Hard Rock's best.
Valley Betting's bet.
ESPN Bet 365.
Smack me in the mouth with all of
If you watch any sports at all, ads for sports betting have become inescapable. Even if you muted every commercial and closed your eyes until the game came back on, it's still plastered everywhere. DraftKings promos pop up in the middle of a play, there's BetMGM billboards behind home plate, FanDuel logos on the court, on the microphone. They come at you from every angle, pepper spraying you in the face so you don't notice they just pulled your pants down. They've made it so watching sports and betting on sports are just two sides of the same coin, like you can't have one without the other. It's become so normalized that it might be easy to forget that gambling can be kind of bad. bad, actually. About 10 million people in the US alone struggle with gambling in some way, a good portion of which are under the age of 25. Gambling addicts attempt suicide at a rate 15 times higher than the general population. The average debt of a gambling addict can range from $15,000 to $90,000. But where most people would see this as a problem, a few people saw it as an opportunity. All that extra money that could be siphoned from struggling families and into the pockets of like 12 CEOs, and we're not doing that because... So in 2018, the Supreme Court overruled the federal ban on sports betting, and since then, Americans have
Nice, how
collectively
you gonna do
lost
the back?
over
This, hi baby, I'm gonna do it the same way.
$1 billion on it. That's almost $1,000
Use my
per
imagination.
person, and that number was from last year. But the bombardment of playful advertising filled with famous celebrities would make you think it's just a harmless, fun game you can play on your phone. Kevin Hart, Post Malone, Chris Rock, LeBron James, Kevin Hart, Peyton Manning, Jamie Foxx, Eric Andre, Patton Oswalt, Vanessa Hudgens, the guy from that Kendrick Lamar song, Kevin Hart. Even the Talk Tua podcast is sponsored by Better. Why is it always the people you trust the most?
You don't need to know everything about every sport. Good, because I know. Yeah, me. All you need is a feeling and a phone.
That is such a bold way to advertise your product. You don't have to know anything about sports in order to bet on them. In fact, we would prefer you didn't. Look, this guy's just chilling in the hot tub. He doesn't even know what sport he bet on, and he won money. So go ahead, just open the app and start mashing buttons. I don't know, like, where do you think they got all the money to shell out to these celebrities? Could it be that maybe Prize Picks isn't the secret gateway to riches beyond my wildest imaginations, and maybe they're just trying to get my debit card number so they can pay all my disposable income? Whether or not you think sports betting should be illegal,
It's raining
and I'm not even
outside. I love it when it
necessarily saying
rains.
should be. The fact that they're allowed to advertise it like this is fucking insane.
So,
Imagine a
because
cigarette
I'm getting
commercial that was
closer
like,
to the
oh my
center,
god,
I'm gonna make sure that I fill the top up so that way it doesn't look like so like
typically the only tobacco ads you see are like anti-vaping PSAs. And I hope there's a future where advertising for betting apps is regulated in a similar way. You can still bet on sports, you can still smoke cigarettes if you want to, it's not illegal, but you're not bombarded with the temptation to do it every time you turn on a basketball game. Even though it's only been 6 years since the federal ban on sports was overturned, technology has already evolved well beyond what was available at the time. And now that gambling has gone from being in a place you have to go to do it, to being accessible on your phone at any moment, there's nothing stopping these apps from trying to lure you in constantly. And they're really good at doing that.
Addiction is intensified, he says, by how much the gambling companies know about each user. That data was used to tailor offers and push notifications to keep the guy in action.
They knew the life stage, the customer life stage it was at, so win back, they described it. So people that have given up gambling for a while and they're trying to get them to come back.
Just by using these apps, you're giving them data about your gambling habits, which they can then weaponize against you. If they realize around 2 p.m. every Sunday is when you're most likely to interact with the app because you're watching 19 games at once and you're starting to get a little restless, they can tailor-make a push notification just for you. Maybe they'll boost the odds of a third quarter Tyreek Hill touchdown, or they'll show you a parlay that 50,000 other people have bet on, and that many people can't all be wrong. Let's talk about parlays for a second, because I think that's one of the biggest contributors to the exponential rise of sports betting. It's parlay time. Put simply, a parlay is when you combine multiple bets into one bet, significantly decreasing the odds of it hitting, but massively boosting the payout you'll win if it does. It's basically the difference between winning a few dollars for correctly calling one coin flip, or winning thousands of dollars if you can get that coin to land on heads 12 times in a row. You're so distracted by the possibility of how much you could win that you're not even considering the fact that you definitely won't. Parlays are the lottery ticket of sports betting, and these apps have made it so easy to make one whenever you want. The only thing stopping you from putting together a parlay that frankly doesn't even make sense is your own imagination. Because of parlays, I think for a lot of people, gambling has become death by 1,000 paper cuts. Maybe instead of losing a lot of money,
What is TubeBuddy? Let's break it down fast. TubeBuddy is used by over 14 million creators to optimize, grow, and manage their YouTube channels. It's a browser extension designed to save you time, get you views, and supercharge your content. Ever wondered if changing your thumbnail or title could get you more clicks? With TubeBuddy's A/B testing, you don't have to guess. You can test different versions and see exactly what works best. And then there's ClickMag, which analyzes your videos and gives you recommendations on how to boost it.
all at once, you're just losing a little bit of money all the time. Sometimes you'll even lose money in a way that feels like you almost won. 5 out of 6, I was so close. but that means I'll definitely win next time. My only personal experience with online sports betting was a couple years ago when I saw Underdog Fantasy was offering to match your first deposit up to $100. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. I watch a lot of football. Maybe I can finally make back some of the money I've spent over the years supporting my stupid, shitty team. So I put in $100. They doubled it. And slowly, over the course of the next 2 months, I lost $25 every week until it was all gone. Now, if I'm being honest, I think this was actually best case scenario for me. I consider myself lucky that the few times I've tried gambling, it hasn't gone well for me, because I have no positive association with it. In the same way that I have no desire to smoke cigarettes, because the first time I did, I smoked 2 back-to-back for some reason and was nauseous the rest of the night. I have no desire to gamble because I've only ever lost money doing it. So even though Underdog managed to get $100 out of me, I actually think they would have preferred if I won a little bit first. When betting apps give out these kind of introductory offers, it's not just so they can get a bunch of free money, although that's definitely part of it. They're trying to create a customer for life.
Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. $5 get $200 back. $250 to $500.
$2,000.
Online sportsbooks know that the best way to get people addicted to their product is to make that first big win as easy as possible. So they'll lure you in with an offer that seems too good to be true, because all of that is pennies compared to what they're raking in from the people who are hooked. They give you free money to start with. They'll let you try again if your first bet doesn't work. They'll let you throw in one leg of a parlay that has essentially a 100% chance of hitting. They are desperate to make sure you have a good time. They want every time you see that app icon on your phone to think about the rush you felt when you turned $5 into $100, so you keep chasing that feeling forever. I just managed to outsmart them by being so unbelievably bad at sports betting that I never even came close to winning. But because I was curious to see how much online sports gambling has evolved since I tried it a couple years ago, and because I would never leave a stone unturned in the pursuit of research, I decided for this video I should try it one more time. So I signed up for the only legal sports book in my home state of Florida, which I assume is named after a famous internet sex symbol, Hard Rock Nick.
Balls tugged on one by one.
Their introductory offer is that they'll give you another chance to bet if your first one doesn't win. On the surface, that almost sounds like free money, but it's not like you can bet once, lose, and then just take your money back. You still have to give them the money. You're probably just gonna lose twice for the price of one. But hey, check this out. I've already unlocked a 1x multiplier, which means for every dollar I earn, I walk away with $1. I spent the next 12 minutes hard at work concocting the smartest and most guaranteed parlays the world has ever seen. With all my bets placed, I could finally sit back, relax, and enjoy a stress-free Sunday afternoon.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, Sam Darnold. Why did they bet on Kirk Cousins? Why didn't they keep the over on Curtis Martin rushing yards? He retired in 2007.
The next few hours felt like a roller coaster, but in spite of it all, I was determined to come out on top.
Guess who has 2 thumbs and just won $9.52? This guy. My other thumb's holding my phone.
I was down, but now I'm up. And since I only lost 5 other bets, I was just $61 from breaking even. Now I know what you're thinking, Drew. How could you have possibly known the Bills were going to beat a team significantly worse than them? What are you, some kind of genius? No. I prefer savant. The truth is, none of this would have been possible without my good luck charm, Michael McCorkle Jones. You can look it up, that's his real name. Ever since I saw him hit the gritty at the Pro Bowl a few years ago, I knew I needed a metal poster of him to hang up on my wall. And thanks to today's sponsor, Displate, that's finally possible. Are you tired of waking up to your boring, empty walls? You try to hang up posters, but your hammer didn't come with instructions, so you don't know how to use it. Well, why don't you go ahead and throw that thing in the trash? Because you don't need one to hang up a display. Displays are high-quality metal posters that help you show off all your favorite interests, whether it's Elden Ring, Halo 3, or a Minion from the movie Minions. And the best part is you can hang them up in a matter of seconds without any tools and without putting any holes in your walls. Displate has over 2 million artworks to choose from, including tons of officially licensed designs from brands like Marvel, Star Wars, and Minions from the movie Minions. They've even got a product called Textra that brings your posters to life with tactile textures and 3D contours. Finally, a poster that's fun to touch. If you've been procrastinating your holiday shopping, there's never been a better time to snag a display. Not only are they great gifts for anyone in your life, but they're celebrating Black Friday with their biggest discount of the year. You can get up to 44% off your order by going to the link in the description, display.com/DrewGooden, or by using my code DREW at checkout. Thank you so much to Display for sponsoring today's video, which unfortunately will now continue. Alright, so I've been using this app for a little over a week now, and even though I did win a few more bets,
for about 5 or 6
all I've
turns,
really
and then
managed to do is
twist
turn my
your
initial
hair.
$100
And you end up with two
into
twists.
zero. It's all gone. I think they know they're on the verge of losing me for good because they're really ramping up the notifications. Most days I'm getting at least one every hour. They even offered me another second chance bet, this time up to $500. They are so confident based on everything I've shown them so far that it seems they're willing to give me any amount of money because it doesn't matter, I'm just going to lose it all anyway. Even in my very limited time using this app, I can already see the traps they're setting for me, and I am falling for them. For some reason, I've done multiple parlays that are contingent upon something happening at the beginning of a game. They offer a bunch of bets that are based on first quarter stats, and I realized firsthand why they do this. Because that one leg can cook your entire parlay immediately. But at that point, you've already committed to betting on this game, and there's so much more game to bet on. So you do. And before you know it, you're betting on Keyshawn George to make 5 threes? Why did I do that? I don't even know who that is. Why did I think Jake Paul was gonna knock out Mike Tyson? That fight was never ending in a knockout. They punched each other like 4 times. Obviously, they were just in it for the money, and I knew that going into it. I only did this bet because they boosted my odds, and they only boosted my odds because they knew it wasn't going to happen anyway. It's 2024. How am I still getting scammed by Jake Paul? And on the flip side, when I do win a bet, sometimes I'm not even that happy about it because I'm just like, I should have bet more. You start getting carried away doing the math. I turned $10 into $30, but I could have turned 100 into 300, 1,000 into 3,000. Oh my God. It's infinite money. And I think that's one of the most dangerous things about gambling is that sometimes it works. It's a hobby that technically could go well for you if you get very lucky and quit at the exact right time, which you won't, and the casinos are banking on the fact that you won't. Problem gamblers aren't just chasing a feeling, they're chasing this idea that maybe they'll win the lottery. A lot of gamblers can recognize that they have a problem, but see the problem as the way out of the problem.
I think the feeling at the time was if you just get lucky here somewhere, then potentially there's a way of making this all go away. I suppose the flip side to that as well, Aaron, is it was enabling me to just gamble as much as I wanted as well.
If I just have one good day, I can win it all back. Yes, I've dug this huge hole for myself, but if I just keep digging, I might be able to find that diamond I've been desperately searching for. But the sad reality is, even if you find the diamond, you're just gonna feel so good doing it that you'll probably dive right back into the mines looking for another one.
The truth is, if I'd have had that big win, I would have just spent it anyway.
A lot of the higher-ups at these companies will refuse any responsibility for creating new gambling addicts over the past few years. They'll make the argument that they're just addicted to their phone, and our app just happens to be on it.
I don't believe that there is an addiction to mobile betting any more than there is an addiction to utilization of your phone for any other reason.
You don't think adding a layer of betting makes the phone more addictive than just tooling around Instagram?
There is problem gambling. It is a real problem. Whether it's gotten bigger or it's just become more noticeable because sports betting is legal, I think is an unknown.
Hey, they've been gambling anyway. Whether it's on our app that sends 30 push notifications a day and is linked to their bank account, or only available in a state on the other side of the country, is totally irrelevant. And while there are obviously some people for whom that is true, you cannot deny the fact that making it so goddamn easy to bet anything at any time is leading to more people gambling who wouldn't have otherwise. You're dangling a piece of candy inches away from people's faces and then saying, hey, it's not our fault they grabbed it. They still would have grabbed it even if it was 2,000 miles away. Since this is all still relatively new in the U.S., maybe we'll see more legislation in the future to combat this avalanche. In some countries, they no longer allow celebrities to appear in sportsbook ads, or they've banned the ads from appearing during sporting events altogether. America is still in this Wild West infancy where all these apps are just scrambling to find a way onto your phone before regulations start kicking in. But maybe in the future? Nah, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to imagine that happening. I think it's too late to put the toothpaste back in the tube. The leagues are making too much money off it already. Of course they want to shove betting apps down everyone's throats. It gives people more of a reason to watch the games, especially bad ones. While most people would turn off a 20-point blowout in the fourth quarter, you're still glued to the screen because you need CeeDee Lamb to get 12 more yards for your parlay.
Y'all, they done found cancer in the braiding hair.
No, they don't. Well, not quite. Our latest investigation found carcinogens in all 10 products of artificial braiding hair that we tested.
Yeah, I don't give a f. I had no idea how toxic synthetic braiding hair is. Like, I'm living for today and not tomorrow.
My scalp is on fire. Look at my scalp. And it's even worse on the back.
I'm not gonna stop wearing it, so why are we having this conversation?
I don't give a flaming multiple hard. I'm putting them braids in.
You're too fucking cheap to invest in anything that's not gonna fill you.
How much?
I let it go for about $40.
$40?
You decided to come to social media and present underdeveloped, dangerous, and careless findings to unsuspecting black people, black women.
So there's a report going viral about 10 hair brands being found to have chemicals that cause cancer. And I must say that the discussion around this topic is quite disheartening. It's like people would literally rather be, before they ever consider wearing their natural hair. This isn't new, by the way. This is just one of the latest among other articles and research that has been done concerning this topic, yielding similar results.
Our latest investigation found carcinogens in all 10 products of artificial braiding hair that we tested. Beauty products such as synthetic braiding hair are largely unregulated, and some ingredients are not required to be listed on the package. This puts the health of people who wear synthetic braiding hair and the braiders who install them at risk. If you wear synthetic braids, one tip to decrease your overall exposure is to take breaks between installs. Braids are often worn for many weeks, and prolonged repeated exposure increases your risk. We contacted all synthetic braiding hair brands we tested for comment. Only 2, Sensational and Magic Fingers, responded. Both disagreed with our testing methodology. Hairzone Sensational said, we unequivocally stand by the safety of Sensational products, and our company urges consumers to continue to confidently use Sensational products. Magic Finger said that we strongly stand by the safety of our products and the quality materials used to make them. Neither company responded to questions about whether or not they do pre-market testing of their products for lead, volatile organic compounds, or other contaminants. Read our full investigation, including other concerning findings from our tests, through the link in our bio.
So research done on this topic is said to not have been done thoroughly. Some things were left out, other things were done, but not done according to the standard that it should be. There's been talks about how these particular reports research was based off injection instead of dermal contact, which means your braids are on your head, they're in contact with your skin, not really in your mouth or your digestive system like that. Even though some people may actually put braids in their hair to like get it out of the way as they braid, you may also share a snack or something with your braider as you braid along. So I feel like maybe both would have been better if you based both on dermal contact and injection. However, this doesn't mean the information shared is totally incorrect. Maybe a bit misleading to make such conclusions given the method used to collect the data is said to be questionable. But let's also remember that this is not the first research that has been done about this yielding similar results. Let's keep that in mind. Also, the fact that these brands can catch this from must tell you one of two things. Either they know that the chemicals are in their products, or they've actually gone through the whole research and decided this is not a thoroughly well done research, so they just throw it out. But what I find the most interesting about this whole thing, which literally screamed we are obsessed with artificial hair and probably need therapy, is people's comments and response to this whole thing. Who asked you to test this? Me watching this, knowing I have an appointment in a few minutes. Life's too short, we'll die anyway. I'm going to remain oblivious. I didn't hear that. So we can only have mini twists and mini braids? Who's we? Who's we? Black people. The people with the most versatile hair I've ever seen in my entire life is the we are referring to. And if we're really being honest, anything you do with your braiding hair, you can do with your natural hair. Just say you don't like it. I understand one thing a little bit of volume. We probably don't hear this thing. But we're constantly still treating our hair like it's just meant to be foundation for the actual braid, which is braiding with extension. It's like, God forbid we wear it as it is, it should forever be covered up or hidden within some extension. That's quite sad. And I understand change is gradual, so I'm not saying by tomorrow, by 7 hours, we should all be natural. That's not what I'm saying. I understand these things didn't happen to us at once. It's something that will happen over a long period of time, so it's internalized. I'm not expecting progress to be like tomorrow, no. But in the same breath, I feel like some people just refuse to take any initial step with regards to bettering their relationship with their hair. And somebody says, should I go about them? And I'm just like, why? What happened to the hair on your head? Do you take out your braids and your hair too? What would you be? This is a perfect example of people literally using their hair only as attachments to hold the braids. Now, the worst and most embarrassing comments are these Christian comments. God even protects the ones that haven't chosen him yet. And you think he will turn away just because you choose to do hair? You're forgetting about God's grace. God, me, I don't know how you manage. So he already gave you functional ears and your ability to make informed decision. And your informed decision in this instance is to inform him that you should take care of him because you don't want to. And I know God is almighty and all that, but he's probably just looking down on you, like, get somebody else to do it. I'm not dealing with you today. Someone said, how about human hair? And somebody responded, it's too expensive. So always keep on. You can either pay now or later. And it actually hasn't really come down to human hair. It's too expensive. We still have plant-based hair braids. So the companies like Nori, Rebando, Kind, and if you're an African, you don't want to deal with shipping costs, we also have Shivoi from Uganda. All of these companies are plant-based and make their braiding hair from banana fiber. And the best thing about it is that they're all black owned by black women, so we really still have options. Your hair too is part of the options. What I'm about to show you next may actually confront you if you aren't ready to give that yet, but I just want to give you all the information available that I know of about this discourse so that we make informed decisions.
Our latest investigation found carcinogens in all 10 products of artificial braiding hair that we tested.
No, it did not. Well, not quite.
This puts the health of people who wear synthetic braiding hair and the braiders who install them at risk.
You can't make these claims.
If you wear synthetic braids, one tip to decrease your overall exposure is to take breaks between installs.
That's baseless advice. James and his colleagues at Consumer Reports were so kind to provide the methodology for their scientific testing, so let's have a look through it. Now, everything as far as the skeleton of the methodology seems sound, but there's a massive flaw as far as the sampling is concerned. James, you only tested 2 samples per product. James, you did not perform any statistical analysis because you didn't have enough data to. And by extension, this experiment and its findings are statistically insignificant.
They don't mean anything. But I'm sure you're already aware of that. That's why you didn't attempt to get this quarter-baked report published. Because no reputable scientific journal would even entertain the idea of it. Which is why most of the brands didn't even respond to your inquiries. If I worked for them, I would have burst out laughing reading this undergraduate level report while holding my morning coffee. These are preliminary findings at best that actually have the potential for significance. But instead of keeping it in-house and performing further testing, you decided to come to social media and present underdeveloped, dangerous, and careless findings to unsuspecting black people, black women, under the false pretense that they are at the forefront of your research. Get back to the lab and conduct proper, publishable research, or don't do it at all. So to James and the Consumer Reports team, please do not fall back into my scientific crosshairs again, especially when it pertains to the black community. Because next time, I may just take the shot. Let's all be guided. That's it from me.
Alright, let's dissect Consumer Reports' findings that synthetic braiding hair contains carcinogens, because people are already jumping to conspiracy theories. So they tested 10 different products for the presence of heavy metals as well as volatile organic compounds, VOCs. The brands are on the left-hand corner, including Darling, Debut, and Sensational. And they tested each product twice, which is why you see duplicates of each one. And they concluded that all 10 products contained levels of lead that exceeded the maximum allowable dose level, as set by California because there is no national level for this. However, the MADL they went off of is for drinking water, which is only based off of oral exposure, not dermal exposure. So I emailed them asking why did they base the exposure limit off of oral exposure, not dermal exposure, because you're not eating your braids. And part of the reason they went with the oral exposure model is because of the likelihood of braiders coming in contact with a braid by eating food after braiding somebody's hair and not washing their hands, or little kids with braided hair putting the braids in their mouth. And while I understand why they went with that model, I don't agree with it because, again, you're not intentionally ingesting braids. Any contact with the mouth is incidental. Plus, the limit for lead allowed in lipstick is 5 ppm, while none of the lead concentrations in the tested braid samples exceeded 0.2 ppm. And you're much more likely to ingest lead via lipstick than you are via hair. But you might ask, why is there lead allowed at all? It's because lead is kind of impossible to get rid of. It's elemental, it's in the ground. So these are very conservative limits to account for the fact that lead is just ubiquitous. And as for the VOCs, the level of benzene detected in this is far below the standard set by OSHA for daily exposure. But the biggest concern with the VOCs would be acetone, which may or may not be a concern for you if you get nails done, because you are exposed to some amount of VOCs when you oil the braids to seal the ends. So if you have any respiratory issues, breathing in that acetone might be a concern. Otherwise, I don't find their findings cause for alarm because the levels detected here are far below other things like bentonite clay. Bentonite clay has a good amount of lead in it. But ultimately, I'm just here to help you make informed decisions. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't buy. If you'd like synthetic hair alternatives, I have a video on rebundle that you should check out. Also worth noting that this product from Sensational contains no detectable levels of lead. I hope this helps.
And I actually love that these people are providing context to all of this, because when you give us scientific data, you want to make sure it's correct. You don't want people to have second thoughts and think, well, how sure am I you're doing it right this time? Because the last time you messed up. You don't want to give somebody a reason to doubt you with information that can actually save their lives.
Ultimately, the choice and experiences are yours. You're the one that experiences a headache when you break your hair. You're the one that experiences an itchy scalp. Whether or not you deal with that by putting your hair in a posted vinegar before braiding it, whether or not that helps, I don't know. You're the one that deals with irritation and all of that. So to wait for a ban or scientific data to tell you how to feel about these experiences is absurd. I hope you're not doing that. Make a decision based on how you feel about these things.
I've been on social media and I've been in this natural hair space for over 15 years now. And I've been a huge advocate for Black natural beauty, self-acceptance and self-confidence around natural hair. Sometimes I feel like I'm way too invested and I care so much that there are times where I feel like I need to disassociate. And it's topics like this where I prefer not to say anything because I feel like I don't have the sensitivity and the patience anymore to speak on a topic without stepping on toes and hurting people's feelings. And this is a very sensitive topic to discuss. And a lot of times people don't need to hear the shit that I'm saying from a bald-headed Black man. Speaking about Black women and their self-image issues, I'm fully aware of this, I understand this, so usually I take a back seat on these things. People want to know my thoughts, so I'm going to give you, okay? First off, most people don't know, I'm a natural hairstylist. That's why I'm so invested in this, because that's my job, that's my business, that's my passion, that's my dedication, all of that, okay? I've told y'all many times on this app, every which way that I possibly can, that y'all need to leave this synthetic hair alone. Y'all need to leave the hair addition alone. They're like, oh, the braids took out my edges. What do I do? How can I get braids not get my edges snatched out? I'm like, leave the braids alone. They're like, oh, we found out braids is damaging our hair. What can you do? How can we get the braids not damage our hair? I'm like, leave the braids alone. I'm like, y'all like, oh no, we found out there's cancer in this braiding hair. What do you think about it? Leave the fucking braids alone. Leave the fucking braids alone. Leave the shit alone. I don't know how many different ways I can tell you the universe, God, the creator is trying to tell you to leave this artificial fake shit alone and work on investing in yourself and the self-care and self-preservation of your own natural hair in whatever form that looks like. Even if you don't prefer to wear the styles that I do, maybe you want to be a straight natural or whatever, you want to rock your hair, okay, just take care of your hair so you can at least do that. You know, I'm tired of seeing y'all get on this app, destroy your fucking hair, complain about this shit, hate up on your hair, you speak all negatively about it. I'm tired of the shit. And then y'all want to get on here and y'all want to hear about all this carcinogens and the braiding hair, and y'all want to act like y'all fucking care, like y'all give a fuck. Y'all don't give a fuck. Let's be honest about this shit. Y'all really don't give a fuck. Y'all, we've been hearing about the ovarian cancer, the relaxing down, stop y'all from relaxing. And you know, we've been hearing about all the risks and dangers of all these different products out there, and now you want to bring in, y'all not gonna stop wearing this shit. So why are we having this conversation? Like really, why are we having it? Y'all not gonna stop wearing it. Y'all not gonna invest in the what is it, rebundle or whatever it's called. Y'all not gonna invest because y'all too fucking cheap to invest in anything that's not gonna fucking kill you. So the next best thing is just to learn to love up on your hair and take care of your hair. But most of y'all are struggling with that because you don't like the shit. So you find innovative ways to fuck up your hair while also trying to be too natural. And it just I'm over it. I think what really pisses me off about this is, like I said, y'all act like y'all care, y'all really don't. On top of the fact that y'all are putting all this shit in your baby's hair when they really have no business wearing all this shit anyway. On top of the fact that maybe if you wore the braids on occasion, it wouldn't be so bad, but you all over fucking consume the shit. Like, you over consume this shit, you keep the shit in for months, you wear it back to back to back to back, you find any and every way to cover your shit up, and then want to complain about damn shit how hard it is. I don't understand. So my thoughts on this is exactly what it's been since I've been on this app, and exactly as it's been since I've been on my YouTube channel for years. Like, leave the braiding hair alone. Leave it alone. Let's work on investing in you, yourself, your self-confidence, your self-image, and your personal feelings around your natural hair. Like, it's so many y'all have this false sense of self-confidence. Most of y'all get up in the morning, y'all walk in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and you don't like what the fuck you see. And again, I know it's not something you want to hear from a bald-headed black man, but this is something I struggle with myself as well. And I know our experiences as, you know, black men and black women are really different, but you still gotta put in the fucking work. At some point, you gotta put in the work, and you're either gonna accept the fact that you think you're an ugly bitch, and you put all this makeup on, all this extensions on, cover this shit up, and do what you gotta do to walk in the world and feel pretty, or you can work on yourself and learn how to become comfortable with the things that make you uncomfortable. That's all I got. That's legit all I got. Because at the end of the day, y'all not gonna stop wearing this shit. Y'all still gonna rock your boho. You're still gonna rock your crochet. You're still gonna rock your faux locks. You're still gonna get these lock extensions and everything else. Why are we having this conversation? Y'all figure it out. Just leave me out of it.
Because truthfully, her boyfriends of using braiding hair was being there from traction of the picture and also drawing out her hair and damaging it if not installed and managed properly. So we've ignored that so far. I don't know whether Casa is where we draw the line or we'll just ignore that as well.
Are you telling me all these years we've been wearing braids, thinking it's a protective hairstyle, thinking we're growing our hair, thinking we're doing something good for our hair, all to come to find out that braiding hair causes cancer? And I wonder if this is the same braiding hair that they sell in the UK, because you know how over there they're more strict about like ingredients and chemicals or whatever. Because if this is the same hair that they sell over there, not my hair, but just the hair in that video that y'all probably saw already, like, then I feel like it's not that bad. Like, it's still bad, but it's not like that bad. But if it's this not the same hair that they sell over there, then
we got problems.
Well, it's just like, what are we supposed to do with this information? Peak braiding hair season is like right around the corner.
Kensington Way is an award-winning school with a unique difference. We are a fully immersive bilingual school and our pupils enjoy a first-class British prep school curriculum in both English and Chinese. We offer our pupils huge developmental, learning and social advantages as well as a unique education as global citizens. As soon as our children arrive at school, they are welcomed by staff ready to...
So this nun has a gambling problem, and she'll do anything to break her vow of poverty and hit up the casinos. Anything. Now her name's Sister Mary, and she's in her 60s or 70s, and she's the principal at a Catholic elementary school in Los Angeles. And even though she's a nun, Sister Mary has a problem. She really likes to gamble. And one day, it's not entirely clear when, she comes up with a plan to steal some money so she can gamble as much as she wants. So first, she low-key goes and opens up several bank accounts. Then she starts stealing from the elementary school that she teaches at. I mean, she's straight up taking money from the school's bank account. She's embezzling the students' tuition checks. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars here. Like, she's making bank off this scheme. However, stealing money ain't all that much fun unless you have someone to share it with. So at some point, Sister Mary gets this woman involved, Sister Chang. And Sister Chang works at the school as well. She's a teacher. And she's also Mary's best friend, and they live together. They're roommates. So anyway, these two nuns start spending all the school's money. Now, before we get into what they do with it, I want to show you what these two criminal masterminds look like. This is Sister Mary, and this is a picture of Sister Chang. So anyway, Mary and Chang steal this money, and they're doing all kinds of stuff with it. They're going to Vegas, they're taking trips to like, just to see the sights and go on vacation, but also to hit up the casinos. Because like I said, homegirl loves to gamble. Apparently she's really good at poker, like that's her thing, which is just hilarious to imagine a nun sitting at a poker table whooping everyone's ass. Anyway, when they're not gambling, they're racking up tons of credit card charges, which of course they pay off with the money they're stealing from the school. Now eventually, the two sisters even move out of Catholic church housing, and they start living together in a nice gated neighborhood. Roommates. Not to mention, each of them drives a brand new Volvo, because of course they do. And yes, over time, some parents start to notice some kind of odd things going on with the sisters. You know, like that they're traveling a lot and going to Las Vegas and taking trips to Lake Tahoe. Or that when the school has a fundraiser and they all play poker for that fundraiser, Sister Mary ends up kicking everyone's ass at the game. Like, people notice this stuff, but no one really suspects anything because Sister Chang is just like, oh, I have a rich uncle and he provides for us. That's how we have these Volvos. And I guess people just believe it. And to make it worse, Sister Mary is kind of in charge of everything at the school, like the money, the choosing of the staff, so there's not really anyone there breathing down her neck, making sure that all the funds are accounted for. And plus, they all trust her, and she's an elderly nun. Why wouldn't they? And so Sister Mary and Sister Chang's scam goes on for years. Maybe close to 2 decades, and no one suspects a thing. And by the way, it's not like the school is super wealthy or anything like that. This school is actually broke as... Like, sometimes the students' parents will ask, like, hey, can the kids get new textbooks or sports uniforms? Or can we get an awning so that the kids don't have to eat outside in the direct sunlight? And Sister Mary will be like, how do you expect us to pay for it? Acting as if she isn't stealing all the money. Not only that, but she also pressures the parents into donating extra money all the time on top of the students' tuition to fund, you know, the school and also her gambling trips. And so these nuns just keep the scam going. Gambling, credit card spending, trips to Vegas, they're living the good life. In 2018, it all changes because suddenly the theft just stops. But not necessarily because Sister Mary and Sister Chang have a change of heart. No, because they announced that they've both decided to retire from the school and from teaching. You know, they're retiring together because they're roommates. So together, they put down a $7,000 deposit on a 3-bedroom townhouse apartment in the neighborhood, you know, a nice place, because soon enough, they'll be retired and they're gonna move there together. But here's the thing about retiring. When you run all of a business's finances like Sister Mary does, and it's time to hand over the keys to the new person filling that position, it's common practice to have a financial review done so that, you know, everything transitions smoothly. And this is where it all goes wrong. Because Sister Mary has a boss. His name is Monsignor Michael Myers. And yes, that is literally his name, his real name. And in real life, he looks like this, but just for fun, we're gonna make him look like this. So Monsignor Michael Myers orders a review of the school's finances because Sister Mary's leaving. Then...
What's going on, guys?
This isn't easy to say. Your mother and I think you're hooked on phonics.
It's preposterous. I found this under your pillow. I just read that for the pictures.
There are no pictures in a dictionary.
That's your opinion.
Just admit it, you're hooked on phonics.
Okay, you got me. I'm hooked on phonics.
You go.
Sweetie, we love you. When your father and I saw that Hooked on Phonics was still helping millions of families and teachers.
And around the same time, a parent of one of the school's students, for whatever reason, they go to the school's admin and they ask for a copy of an old tuition check. So the school has to go and dig that up. And when the school looks at the check, they notice this check, it wasn't deposited into the school's primary bank account. It was deposited into some other bank account. That's weird. And with Monsignor Michael Myers' financial review taking place around the same time, Sister Mary knows she's fucked. She knows this is about to make her look real bad. So she low-key goes into the school's financial records and she starts messing with the books a little bit. She's asking other employees to change some files, she's asking for some files to be deleted, and this, of course, really sends a huge red flag to Michael Myers and the rest of the school admin. And so they have a forensic auditor come in and do a deep dive into the school's finances. And this forensic auditor goes back as far as she can, which actually isn't very far because I guess they don't keep bank records for much longer than a decade, or at least this school's bank doesn't. But whatever, the forensic auditor comes back and says this: at minimum, $500,000 has been embezzled from the school. But here's the crazy part though. The school, which is the church decides they don't want to file a criminal complaint against these nuns. Like, they don't want to press charges. They want to handle it internally. So these two nuns aren't going to get in trouble for essentially stealing from these elementary school kids. This is like the worst thing the Catholic Church has ever done to some kids.
Yeah.
However, here's the problem with not reporting Mary and Chang to the police. Not everyone is on board with this idea, specifically the parents. See, the church at some point has to sit the parents down and tell them that their tuition money was being stolen for all those years. But also that they've decided that they're not going to press charges against the thieves because they want to protect the sisters and the reputation of the church or whatever. And the parents are like, the f*** you're not, and they are pissed, and they pressure the school to finally cooperate with the police department. And over the next few years, the police gets involved, the FBI gets involved, even the IRS investigates all this. And eventually, bam, both nuns get arrested. And I don't have mugshots of them, but here's a picture of Whoopi Goldberg in the cast of Sister Act. And so, when all is said and done, Sister Mary and Sister Chang stole over $835,000 from this elementary school. And Sister Mary ends up taking a plea deal, and she gets 1 year in prison, and for some reason, the charges are dropped against Sister Chang. So, I guess nothing happens to her. Sister Mary probably didn't want to snitch on her, you know, because they're rude. And a huge shout out to Leonardo.ai for sponsoring this video. If you make videos and you want to make really badass art for those videos, like this or like this, like look at how cool that is. Sign up for Leonardo.ai.
Let me find something else for us to hear.
How do you know when it's time to end a relationship or when to really fight for it to see if there's something there?
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer that applies to all situations.
Do you remember that show, That 70s Show? Well, you probably know that one of the lead actors is in big trouble. Now, the story starts with a woman named Chrissy. And Chrissy's 18, she just moved away from home to pursue a career in Hollywood. And so far, it's going pretty well. She's getting a bit of work. But one night, everything changes. Because she's out at a party, and that is when she meets this guy, Danny. And Danny's a few years older than her, and he's already been acting in Hollywood a long time, since he was young. And so Chrissy, she thinks Danny's kind of fun, and they start dating. Here's actually a picture of them together. And from here, things move pretty quickly, because 2 weeks later, Danny invites Chrissy to come live with him. And this is great news for her, because, you know, she's new to the city, she doesn't know anyone. And soon after, she really starts to rely on Danny for, like, everything. But then, he kind of drops a bomb on her. He tells her that in order for them to be in a relationship, she has to join his religion, Scientology. So she starts going to the church to meet up with them, and she signs their paperwork, because I guess they make you sign legal documents when you join. And she starts taking their Scientology courses, and she, like, officially joins them. Once she's in the church, they really take over her life. And suddenly, Scientology and Danny become her whole world. And they tell her how to live and how to act, and they tell her that she has to cut off contact with her friends and family because they aren't members. And of course, Chrissy does, because, you know, when your religion tells you to do something, you do it. I mean, this is classic cult behavior. But then, something kind of crazy happens to Danny. Because it's 1998, and Danny, because he's an actor, he auditions for a show called Teenage Wasteland. And bam, he gets the part. And eventually, they rename the show and call it That 70s Show, and That 70s Show blows the fuck up, and it becomes a huge hit. And so very quickly, Danny becomes super famous with, like, super famous friends, and he becomes one of the highest ranking members of this multi-billion-dollar religion. And maybe, all of this starts to go to his head. Because as time goes on, he becomes more and more controlling, specifically of Chrissy. He also becomes more and more sexually aggressive. And while Chrissy, she doesn't like any of this, but she does the thing where she makes excuses for his bad behavior because, you know, she's in love with him and she trusts him. And remember, she's still isolated from her family and friends, so she has no one. But then, in 2001, Chrissy's 23 now, shit starts to get really dark. Because according to her, one night, she and Danny are chilling at home, having a glass of wine, and then strangely, she starts feeling the effects of alcohol coming on super strong, even though she hasn't had enough of it for it to make her feel that way. And then suddenly, boom, she blacks out. The next morning, she wakes up feeling like she was poisoned or something. And not only does her whole body hurt, but she's also bleeding and injured in her anus. And she doesn't understand what happened to her, and so she goes downstairs to Danny, and she asks, "What happened last night?" And Danny laughs at her, and he says, "Oh, I had intercourse with you last night." And Chrissy says, "Was I unconscious?" And he laughs and says, "Yeah." And obviously, Chrissy is not okay with this. In fact, she's devastated. I mean, Danny is her whole life, the guy who she's put all her trust in, and he's violated her in a disgusting way. And so she gets mad, and she's like, "I am gonna report this motherfucker." And she does. She goes to the ethics department of the Church of Scientology, which is like the church's justice department, and she tells the ethics officer what Danny did to her. But unfortunately, the officer allegedly tells her that, well, it can't be SA because Danny's your boyfriend. And the officer also tells her, if this happened to you, then it's your fault. I mean, you must have done something to deserve it. And if that isn't bad enough, then this ethics officer allegedly threatens her. Like, if you go to the police about this, then you'll become an enemy of the church, and you'll be punished by any means necessary. And as you probably already know, the Church of Scientology, they are known to not fuck around when it comes to getting revenge on people. And so Chrissy is terrified. I mean, if she goes to the police, the church might come after her. Not to mention that the church also happens to be a major donor to the Hollywood Police Department. And this is actually a real photo of them donating. So now she's worried they could all turn against her. And so, poor Chrissy, she decides not to report it further. Instead, she bottles it all inside. Thankfully, though, she does eventually leave Danny. Then more years go by, and it's now 2009, and Chrissy, she actually meets a new guy, a much nicer guy. This guy, Cedric. And Cedric is actually the lead singer of two bands, the Mars Volta and At the Drive-In. Great bands, by the way. And Chrissy and Cedric, they fall in love, and they eventually get married. And one day, Chrissy and Cedric are chilling, and she's explaining to him why she has such bad anxiety. And she ends up telling him about what happened all those years ago with Danny. And you know, she starts blaming.
So I said to him, "No, Nigel, not without the green." And you are?
Oh, don't worry, I'm basically letting you know.
How did you get in here? This soiree is for fancy real estate investors only.
Okay, but I am a real estate investor.
Herself, and she says, "Oh, I know what happened is my fault." And Cedric, he has a big reaction to this. He's like, "No, the hell it's not. That's called SA." And he assures her that what happened to her was both wrong and illegal. And so finally, for the first time ever, Chrissy is sitting in front of someone who not only believes her, but who supports her. And this influences her to finally go to the police and report Danny. And she also starts speaking out about it on social media, calling out both Danny and Scientology. And by the way, she's left the church at this point. But then it gets even crazier because after Chrissy comes out publicly, boom, 2 more women come forward. And they say that Danny had done similar things to them, like putting things in their drinks and making them pass out and then SAing them. And by the way, the details of what Danny did to these women is awful. Like, I can't even repeat it in my video without it getting taken down. But just know that what he actually did to them is way worse than what I could have described in this video. But anyway, so now police investigate Danny, and he has 3 credible allegations of SA against him, and so, bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And by the way, later, a 4th woman comes forward. Regardless, now, after more than 15 years, if they convict him, it looks like Chrissy is finally going to see justice. Until... Here's the thing about Scientology. They don't really like their members being snitched on. And because Chrissy had reported Danny to the police, she's now considered an enemy of the church. And according to her, this is when they make her life a living hell. Because over the next few years, all kinds of crazy stuff starts happening. People from the church allegedly start loitering outside her home, looking in her windows. Cars start following Chrissy around wherever she goes. One even tries to run her off the road. She and Cedric get threatening messages on social media with people saying they're gonna come and take their children away. Vans full of electronics park outside their home for hours so they feel like they're being spied on. People affiliated with the church allegedly call their friends and family asking for information about them. People even start following their kids around. And so yeah, eventually Chrissy and Cedric are like, "F all this," and they move from California over to Texas. But unfortunately, the thing is, there in Texas, similar things start happening. Like one day, Chrissy sees two men looking over her fence in her backyard, and one of them says, "Nice dogs." And soon after, she finds one of her dogs has been poisoned. Someone apparently took raw meat stuffed with rat poison and they fed it to the dog. This is actually a picture of what they found that day. And by the way, their other dog also dies unexpectedly by unexplained trauma to its throat. So it's possible Scientology took out both their dogs. Now, despite all of that crazy alleged Scientology stalking, eventually Danny goes to trial for his crimes. Twice, actually. And ultimately, he's found guilty of 2 of the 3 charges, and he's sentenced to 30 years to life. Good.
Get paid to be real. Apply for InFocus.
I didn't know what to expect going in, and what a pleasant experience it was.
It felt like a community.
I feel like everyone came from a different background and different experiences, but somehow we still all have the same values and the same goals.
I feel like I just had a video chat with friends.
This was a good part of my day.
What a good use of the internet, Bunny.
Apply today.
TikTok, a platform known for its endless stream of dance trends, life hacks, and heartwarming pet videos, which may seem like nothing more than an innocent escape for millions of users. But beneath the surface, the app has also become a breeding ground for something far more unsettling. One such case is John Robert Bell, better known as Joe Rob, a youth pastor, Boy Scout leader, and self-proclaimed TikTok king. Joe Rob isn't just another TikTok creator, he was a titan. With 1.5 million followers, millions of likes, and a reputation for taking on anyone who challenged him, he positioned himself as an outspoken force on the platform. He debated big names, rallied his fan base, and proudly paraded his male feminist identity as if it were a badge of honor. On the surface, he crafted the perfect image, charismatic, wholesome, and deeply involved in guiding young people. He presented himself as a trusted figure, someone dedicated to uplifting and inspiring his audience.
I'll say it again. If you groom somebody, you are disgusting. The scum of the earth. Joe.
But behind the carefully curated facade, a darker truth was lurking.
I felt safe around, but I don't feel safe around him anymore because he's a groom.
I can't go into specific details about what happened between me and Joro because it is quite...
TikTok wasn't just a platform for him to entertain. It was a tool, a means to build trust, gain influence, and operate under a false sense of innocence. His rapid rise to popularity wasn't just about his content. It was about the calculated way he positioned himself as someone who belonged in the lives of young, impressionable viewers. And as his following grew, so did the red flags.
I may be a pastor, or I may work for God, but I'm not against kids having them.
To some, he was a feminist hero calling out injustice. To others, he's one of the most revolting hypocrites the app has ever spawned. A predator hiding behind a halo, targeting the very kids who trusted him most. But then the allegations hit. Airbnb schemes, inappropriate photos, and minors as young as 13 caught in his web. What started as whispers quickly turned into a disturbing pattern as victims like Dylan and Coco stepped forward with stories that were impossible to ignore. And the craziest part, Joe Rob's influence wasn't limited to TikTok. He worked with kids in real life, church gigs, Boy Scouts, piano lessons. This wasn't just a case of internet deception. Joe Rob was a predator hiding in plain sight. Today we're pulling back the curtain on Joe Rob, a man who preached morality by day but preyed on minors by night. This isn't just internet drama, it's a wake-up call to every scroller, every parent, and every kid with a phone. Because the real dangers aren't just lurking in dark alleys. They're smiling at you from your For You page, waiting for the right moment to strike. This is a story of manipulation and a downfall so shocking that it'll make you rethink everything you have ever seen online. And is it just me, or does this guy awfully look like Jeffrey Dahmer? Maybe it's just my eyes. Anyways, back to our story. Every villain has an origin story, and Joe Rob is not an exception. He started in the unassuming glow of TikTok's early pandemic boom, sometime around the middle of 2020. But John Robert Bell wasn't a kid with a ring light. He was a guy in his late 20s with a mission on his mind. He was a guy with an average build, pastor vibes, a smile that screamed, "Trust me," and a weird charm. He hit the app with a purpose, social justice rants, women's rights takes, and a knack for stitching videos that called out the bad guys. His username, @JoeRobOfficial. Although it seems like he's no longer active on TikTok, he had a hook that read, "I'm not like other men," and TikTok ate it all up. At the beginning, Joe was a nobody, just another face in the crowd of faces in the For You page. His early stuff revolved around the basics. Consent 101 lectures for kids, giving sass about male privilege, as well as the occasional safe space spiel for teens. He would duet some random user spouting misogyny, get himself a drop the mic moment, and boom, likes rolled in just like that. But here's the thing that many failed to see. Joe wasn't just loud, he was very calculated. He slowly and steadily curated a brand for himself, a male feminist, a youth pastor with a TikTok twist. And people were all over him. Finally, a guy who gets it, they thought. And by late 2020, he already had over 50,000 followers. That doesn't seem so bad, right? One thing that set Joe apart was his drive to hustle. He didn't just post, he did a lot more to attract people to his content by actively engaging his audience. Furthermore, he did live streams with teens, Q&As, and even Zoom calls with fans. Before you knew it, he already built a community with a cult-like following. He'd say stuff like, "I'm here for the kids without a voice," and you could almost feel the sincerity. Or so they thought. His day job backed it up, as he was a youth pastor, Boy Scouts leader, and piano teacher. On paper, he is Mr. Robert with a Bible. On your screen, he is Jerob. And off-screen? Well, I'll get there. For now, he's climbing 100K, 200K, 500,000 followers by mid-2021. The algorithm loved him, and so did the kids. Then came the big break. Summer 2021. Joe picks a fight with TikTok's resident loudmouth. Let's call her the vegan teacher. She's got 2 million followers, 4 times more than Joe Rob's personal count, a shrill voice, and a habit of singing about kale.
Actually, you're not really vegan. You are someone who simply eats plants. We call that a plant-based person. A real vegan is somebody who defends animals all the time and talks about their exploitation.
So one day she posts some wild take, differentiating vegans from people who don't eat meat, saying they are plant-based people. She further adds that real vegans are people that don't just avoid eating meat, but also defend animals all the time and talk about their exploitation. And Joe pounces as soon as the video makes it to his feed. He duets her, tearing into her logic. He starts by announcing that he does not have any hate for veganism or plant-based eaters. He then claps back at Vegan Vixen for her definition of veganism, saying that you don't need to be an animal rights activist or actively trying to convert people to veganism to be vegan.
We call that a plant-based person. A real vegan is somebody who defends animals all the time
No. Before I get started, I'm just going to say I don't have any issues with veganism, whether you're doing it for nutrition reasons, moral reasons, environmental reasons, whatever. As far as I can tell, there is no societal understanding that says that in order to be vegan, not only do you not have to eat or use animals or animal byproducts, but you also have to be an animal rights activist or actively try to convert people to vegan.
It's a bloodbath. And she claps back, firstly thanking Joe for mansplaining to her and the other female vegan feminists what veganism was. She adds that the vegan society definition of veganism encourages them to speak up for the victims. You know, chickens, sheep, cows, and the like, since they can't speak for themselves or speak at all. She goes on to add that the vegan community also speaks up for the rights of all minorities, including the LGBTQ community, and against all forms of racism. She then gives an insight to thoughts about cows that are being raped, with their male offsprings being killed for meat, and females put back into the cycle to keep producing milk. Now look at who is womansplaining.
I'm trying to show you guys. It's beautiful.
Golly gee, that sure means a lot.
A little closer, Karen.
Let's talk about it. First of all, me educating my followers about what the actual definition of veganism is not mansplaining to female animal rights activists. And you can use the Vegan Society's definition of veganism to include philosophy, lifestyle activism, all you want. That's your choice. But simply speaking, there's lots of ways to be vegan. And until society in general decides to include those pieces into the definition of veganism, I'm not going to either. And one last thing. You used graphic imagery to describe how I get the milk to put in my coffee, but I don't drink coffee anymore. And when I did, I drank it black.
I'm gonna get in there so you can.
For weeks, they're having stitches, lives, shade. And the TikTok fans are hooked and can't look away. Vegans got the numbers, but Joe's got the charm. Comments swing his way though. One user calls the vegan vixen a textbook example for words only mean what I want them to mean. Another user calls her out on her stance on what a vegan is, saying those who defend animals are animal rights activists. She was quickly losing the battle with her audience. After their back and forth, Joe Rob's views skyrocketed. He was getting millions per clip. By the end, Vegan Vixen is still yelling, but Joe is the victor. He had gained a massive audience. His main account hits 1 million followers, doubling in size in a mere 2 weeks. And his alternate account was at 500,000, almost 2 million in total. His likes, 15 million. In less than a year, he's gone from nobody to TikTok royalty. Fans were calling him the guy who slayed Vixen. He was untouchable, or so we thought. With fame and power, so our guy Joe doubles down. He's doing more rants, more debates. He's calling out creeps, defending the victims, all while rocking that male feminist halo. He goes on and on, ranting and duetting whoever he disagrees with. Fans eat it up. Fan pages pop up. Edits of his best moments flood the app. He becomes not just a creator, he's a beacon. Young teens DM him for advice. Parents thank him for guiding their troubled kids. By 2022, he's peaking. 1.5 million followers, $1 million in clout, money, adoration, trust. He's had it all. And any video of people speaking ill against Joe was met with a massive number of dislikes. It was almost like he had started a cult or something of that scale. But here is where things get tricky, where the mass slips flying. People start to notice that Joe is loud on misogyny, but quiet, almost too quiet on predators. Other creators like him get exposed, guys like Gemini Official. It's revealed that he was luring young girls to Airbnbs for very suspicious activities, and Joe, crickets. His fans noticed this and asked him to speak about it since it was in line with his content, but were probably left in shock when he was dodging this event. An easy excuse for him here would be that he was probably avoiding drama from the whole scenario. But this was not the only time where Joe Rob deflected or dodged his calling out a pedophile as he was famous for. A little while after the Gemini Official scandal, another child groomer is exposed, and this time it's someone really close to Joe. A friend of his, in fact. It was a guy named the Calvin Randall. After he was caught, he later explained that TikTok inflated his ego and that he felt invincible, thinking that he couldn't make a mistake.
famous. I felt that with TikTok, my ego was super inflated, and I felt like I was invincible, I was unstoppable, I couldn't make it.
Again, we see Joe avoid saying anything on the matter, even though this guy was someone that he was friends with publicly. They even had a picture of themselves together posted on Calvin's Instagram. But Joe had no words this time. He was just mute. Now, you could try to make an excuse for Joe.
Please like and subscribe. I need all 3 of you. All 3 of you right now.
Against someone he once considered a friend.
I'm 50 years old. I'm still alive.
Right?
Look at this hair.
Well, maybe. If it weren't for what's coming next. See, Joe was not just avoiding drama. He was hiding something. Something that, if it came to light, would take down his TikTok empire that took him so long and so much to build. But in mid-2023, a kid named Dylan was about to blow the lid right off. By mid-2023, Joe Rob was sitting pretty. 1.5 million followers on TikTok, a halo polished by years of preaching consent and calling out creeps. He was TikTok's golden boy, untouchable. But every empire has got its cracks, and Joe's are about to split wide open. See, while he's dodging predator scandals like Gemini Official, staying silent when the audience screamed for justice, something else was brewing. A kid named Dylan had been waiting, watching, and he's got a story that'll make your skin crawl. This wasn't just a takedown, it was a reckoning. But first, let's rewind. Joe built his brand on busting bad behavior. Gemini Official gets exposed in late 2022. Over a dozen creators accuse him of luring young girls to Airbnbs, promising them content collabs only for him to prey on them. The evidence stacks up. Texts, pics, a hotel confession, and TikTok's big names are on it. He's scum, they say, videos racking up millions. But for some reason, Joe stays silent. Not even a peep. Fans are waiting, expecting him to drop a video condemning those actions, but it never came. Weird, right? The guy who lives for callouts is suddenly mute? Now hold that thought. Dylan's about to explain why. Fast forward to July 2023, a Wednesday, a day that appears uneventful, until Dylan, username @Dilg, drops a video that hits like a freight train. He's 16, a small creator with around 30,000 followers, and he's shaking. This is about one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever met, he starts, voice cracking.
Because he's a groomer.
On one unassuming Wednesday, 17-year-old TikToker Dilg16 uploaded the following video.
This video will be about one of the biggest hypocrites I have ever met in my life. Joe wrote, John is a disgusting and terrible hypocrite who abuses his platform by using his clout to groom and prey upon underage boys. He has done this to multiple people, including
Dylan almost broke the internet with this confession. He says that Joe Rob abuses his platform by using it to groom underage boys. He adds that he was not the only victim of Joe, saying he did it to multiple other people. The app freezes, then explodes. Dylan's got receipts, and they're juicy enough to make your stomach turn. Let's break it down straight from the kid's mouth. Dylan says it starts 9 months back. Joe follows him out of nowhere. When he still had less than 30,000 followers, he was a small fry compared to Joe's millions. He says Joe slides into his live stream all charming, so he could ask him for his Snapchat. Dylan, who is probably starstruck, still hands it over. They start chatting for weeks on end. Innocent stuff, you know, TikTok talk. Then Joe ups the ante. He asks Dylan to book an Airbnb with him for his 18th birthday that was still 3 months away. An Airbnb with a 17-year-old boy, 3 months out. Let that sink in. Dylan is reluctant at first, but asks if he could bring friends. Joe realizes that Dylan was very reluctant and, in turn, agrees to let him bring a friend, hoping that it butters the deal and makes Dylan more acceptable to the idea. He then sends links to one-bedroom spots for just the 2 of them. We'll have lots of money to do fun things, Joe texts. But there would be a room for the 2 of us. Dylan pushes back. What about a 2-bedroom? Joe ghosts the question and immediately pivots to talking about the beach and getting a hot tub. It's really giving predatory vibes. Now, Dylan also points out that Joe is actively involved with multiple people at a time. Even when Dylan talks about bringing his friend along to the trip with Joe, he goes on to ask him when his friend was going to turn 18, as we see in their texts below. It actually gets worse. A couple of weeks later on a Zoom call with about 10 other kids, ages ranging from 13 to 17, and Joe has got a game. He tells them to take a BDSM test. Send him their test scores. A 32-year-old asking kids for that? I need a shower just saying that. Dylan reveals that Joe asks them to take the test so he can know what their kinks are. Whoa, what a sick guy.
In one of the Zooms with all of my TikTok friends, John thought it would be a good idea to have us all take a BDSM score test and send him our results. Keep in mind, the youngest was 15 years old and the oldest were 19, and there were only two 19-year-olds and everybody else was 17 and below.
This man asked kids to take a BDSM test. Surely more than a handful of them do not know what that is. And why does he want to see their scores? To know their kinks? From a 14-year-old? Seriously? Thankfully, Dylan's no fool. He smells something off. One time his friends joined a Zoom call with Joe, and he flips, questioning why Dylan invited them. He snaps and then spins it by leaving Dylan out of his subsequent calls that they had.
A few months later, in the Zooms, my friends would go into separate FaceTime calls, and I felt like me and John were always left out. And he tried to convince me that they were talking about me and that they weren't my real friends and that he was my only.
So now it was Joe and Dylan's friends having separate conversations without Dylan. After that, Joe meets Dylan and tells him the details of the conversation he had with them. He says to him, "They're ditching you, man. I'm your real friend." Gaslighting 101, textbook grooming. He realizes that Dylan's friends were already aware of what was going on. And in an effort to make Dylan question whatever they say to him from then on, he is gaslighting him to think that his friends don't have his back. It works. Dylan drifts from his crew, listening to his new friend, Joe Rob. But his friends keep watching out for Dylan, even though they weren't exactly on speaking terms anymore. They're watching. One day, they finally FaceTime him and tell him that Joe is grooming him. As expected, Dylan rebuffs their claims, telling them that he's cool. But hours pass and he ponders on what his friends just told him, and it eventually clicks for Dylan.
I got a FaceTime call from all of my friends, and I answered. And in those FaceTime calls, during the Zooms, they were talking about how John was grooming me. And whenever they confronted me with this, I was very defensive. A few hours later, I called back and talked to them, and I finally realized that John was grooming me. I decided to cut John off and not confront him about anything. I didn't say anything for the past 8 months because I thought I was the only one until recently I found out that there are multiple people that John has groomed. John does not deserve to have any type of platform because if he does, he will continue this behavior and will not stop preying on teenagers. He's a
Joe was really a creep. He immediately cuts him off. Dylan then stays quiet for a few months, thinking he's alone. Then he hears whispers somehow, and he finds out that there are others who got the same treatment. That's when he finally decided to record that confession video. And Dylan's video is a hit. 5 million views in 48 hours. People are commenting and sympathizing with Dylan and calling out Joe for his disgusting actions, especially since Joe posed to the public as an innocent and upright Christian, Boy Scouts and piano teacher. He even helped speak against injustice and called out other people and their shortcomings and wrongdoings. So everyone is surprised that he is actually a groomer behind the scenes. But Dylan's not alone. His video starts a sequence of multiple accounts coming out to tell their stories with Joe too.
It all starts about 7 months ago when he follows me back. I almost instantly messaged him saying, "Hey dude, I'm a big fan. I can't believe you followed me back. Do you think you'd want to play Minecraft sometime?" Because I asked most of my new mutuals if they wanted to play Minecraft because I was addicted to the game at the time. He hit me back nearly instantly with a, "Oh, sure, of course. Here's my Snapchat and here's my Xbox tag." As to which I had to go through because I wanted new people to play Minecraft with and I looked up to him. And here's where things started. That night, me and John played for around 6 hours total on one Minecraft world and got pretty damn far in it. And we both were having a lot of fun. We both stayed up late talking, and we did this for the next week. We stayed up like till 2 to 4 a.m. talking to each other and playing Minecraft. and it was great. I could not have asked for more. And I didn't suspect a thing. I figured we were just friends talking, playing Minecraft together, because that's what friends did. And I'd say around 3 weeks later, he started asking like different questions, like, what state do you live in? And do your parents let you travel? And do you like to travel? And I gave him full honesty, and as to which I do, or I did. And I didn't talk much about it, but I trusted him enough to tell him. So I told him everything. And then he answered, great, thanks for telling me. And then stopped talking to me.
Coco is next, and they have got a tale that'll twist your guts. Going by the username @CocoCreates, they are 17 and have this gamer vibe. 7 months back, Joe followed them. They're stoked, big fan of his, and they almost immediately text him to let him know that they are a big fan and ask him to play Minecraft with them. Joe accepts the invite and he's in. He quickly shares his Snapchats and Xbox tag, hoping to be added on both platforms. On the first night, Coco says that they play for about 6 hours in total together in Minecraft. They say they and Joe kept at it. They grind for hours, weeks on end. Late nights, 2 to 4 a.m. chats. Innocent, right? Nope. 3 weeks in, Joe's probing. What state do you live in? Do your parents let you travel? Do you like to drink? Coco was honest with Joe, maybe too honest. And Joe's response? Great, thank you for telling me. But Coco doesn't know that Joe's got a plan. Then after 4 days, he reaches out to them again, asking if he could FaceTime them. They talk about a TikTok convention. He says on FaceTime, you and me,
It's not bad. I started with 43
Airbnb, go grab
pieces
some
and
drinks.
I still
They
have
are
like
packing.
6,
Then Joe suddenly vanishes.
over
To
20,
me and went,
23, 24
hey,
pieces.
can I FaceTime you? As to which we FaceTime. And me and him talked about those TikTok conventions that used to happen once a year where you go to and like talk to people and big content creators you like to follow. And he asked if I wanted to go to one with him. I agreed because that was great. I would have loved to. And he offered to buy me a room with him or like an apartment or whatever it was at the time. And I was getting ready to go. Things were great. It was wonderful. He offered to buy me alcohol like before. And we never went. I'm going to specify, we never went.
But before he leaves, he gives them a quote worth remembering. I may be a pastor, but I'm not against kids having fun. Just, wow, what a way to negotiate morality.
This is the one quote I remember him talking to me about. I may be a pastor, or I may work for God, but I'm not against kids having fun. I should have realized it.
After ghosting Coco again for weeks, he comes back from nowhere, acting like he never left, and straight up asks Coco if he's looking to play Fortnite with him and Dylan, from the previous confession about Joe being a pedo creep. Coco agrees, and that's where they meet Dylan, which is great because Dylan is the one credited with helping them realize, but Joe's a pedo.
Afterwards, he basically ghosted me for a while. He stopped talking to me. But then one day he messaged me saying, hey, would you like to play Fortnite with me and Dylan? And that's how I met Dylan, as to which I am thankful because, well, he's the one who helped us all realize.
From that point on, it seems like Joe became too comfortable with Coco. He's starting to
Taking a
slip.
break, guys.
He's now sending
Thanks so much for
shirtless
watching.
pictures of himself at the gym to them, texting late at night asking, you like me, right? Coco is creeped out, and they call him on it. And what does Joe say in response?